background, and we can go from there.
Brooke, you start.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Brooke Lowry and I'm from Fried Technology here in Houston, Texas. And we are really excited to talk to you guys today. This last year was my first time at IdeaCon, and man, I really enjoyed it. We had a couple days there. We did some marathon sessions in the Google space, and it was so enjoyable. So I'm really excited to see some faces this morning that we saw there.
Yeah, me too. Super cool. Well, I'm Amy Mayer and I'm from Texas also. I live just north of Houston and Brooke lives just west of Houston. So we're pretty close to each other, even though the only way we see each other now is like this. So fancy meeting you here, just like all these guys from Illinois.
Yeah.
It suddenly doesn't matter where you are, which is crazy, but yeah, so it's so great to learn with you guys today. We brought something for you today, but we are certainly more than happy to pivot to anything that you would like. We just brought something that we know is really popular when we do professional development. So if you guys have questions or comments or want to go in a different direction, please just let us know. We do this every day, all day long. We train Google, so we're really knowledgeable about, I think, every area of it. So, all right. Well, y'all want us to get started?
Yep, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen then. And we are going to talk today about a concept that we call hyperslides. So you guys have probably heard of hyperdocs before, and it's a great concept where you kind of make the document the center of your learning. And the concept we like even a little bit better is the concept of making slides the center of your learning, because you can do so much with slides if you just know how to use them and know all these kind of tips and tricks, which Brooke is the master of. And we learned a new one yesterday that we found out she's been holding out on us and had not told us. So we'll share that with you today also. Yeah, thanks a lot,
I always
Brooke.
get blamed for these things.
Yeah, you know it's true. You know it's true. It's your fault. We all had a group chat about this new thing we learned, and then she pops in and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I already knew that and didn't tell you. Thanks a lot." Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Our social media channels are all Fried Technology. My Twitter handle, my personal one, is Fried Tech Amy. Same on Instagram, but all of our company channels are Fried Technology. And so if you want to follow us there, we'd love to stay in touch via social media. And here is my colleague, Brooke. You can see on Twitter, she is B_out_of_the_box. And you can follow her there personally or ask her questions. And like I said, if you ask me, I'll probably have to ask her anyway. So you can just go straight to the source if you'd like to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to make sure you guys know about our online school. We have a free course that is perpetually free. It's not temporarily free. It's always free. It's called Spark Joy with Google Keep. It's an amazing course. I'd love for you guys to take it. The reason we keep it out there for free is because we want people to see that our online school is really good, that the learning is fun, it's entertaining, it's stuff you really want to know, so that maybe, when you want to learn more about Google Classroom, you'll go take a look at our Classroom in 5 course, which just came out last week or week before last. Week before last, and has been really, really popular, and it's on sale right now for 50% off. So look for those promo codes on our social media channels if you want to take any of our courses. We'd love to see you there.
Hey, Amy, I just want to talk just a little bit more about that Google Classroom course.
Yeah, please.
Just because
I'll pull it up.
I talked to a couple teachers yesterday, and they were like, well, I mean, I've been using Google Classroom in my classroom, but I am struggling a little with, now that they're not face-to-face, I'm not guiding the students. And honestly, like this classroom course, not just because we're the ones that made it, but I think it'll help anyone who's using Google Classroom. Maybe if you've already been using it, maybe if you're brand new to it, it has all the ins and outs of Google Classroom. So I wish I had the course when I first started with Google Classroom instead of learning it kind of the trial and error way. So there's some really great resources in there and some ideas for lessons. And I really do think that that's something that a lot of people could use.
Yeah, me too. And we also put in there a video that you can send to parents. Yep. So that's been a big request that we've gotten, and that is inside this course as well. So Yeah, I mean, I learned so much just going over the course when I was
Yeah.
reviewing it, just looking at the text. I'm like, wait, I didn't know that. And, we use it all the time, every day. So I definitely agree with that. All right, so let's start talking about hyperslides. I'm going to go out of presentation mode and go into this view so that I can move things around and all that kind of stuff. And then when you have questions, I'm going to stop and show you how to do these different things. So the first thing that I want to kind of show you and get you thinking about is that a slide does not have to be 16 by 9 or 4 by 3. So raise your hand if you remember when TVs used to be 4 by 3. You know what I'm talking about? So TVs used to be almost square. If any of you guys were little and had to change the channel, that's back when TVs were square. Remember that? Now TVs are oblong. So now they're 16 by 9. They used to be 4 by 3. And so that's what size slides are. But they don't have to be that way. That's just how they come by default. But we can think of slides in a different way just by changing the orientation and the shape of a slide. So I'm going to go to a new slide presentation. The fastest way to get one is just to type in slides.new into the Omni box. The long box at the top, slides.new, would get you a brand new presentation. And when I get here, I want to take myself out of the mindset of this being like something people are just going to watch, like a TV. I want it to be something people will interact with. So I'm going to go to File and Page Setup, and I'm going to change from 16 by 9 to Custom. And to get us out of the mindset, I'm going to change it to 8.5 by 11. We can change it to any size or shape we want, but this just gets us started with the idea that, wait a minute, this is not just a slide. So Brooke always likes to make hers square. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I make them like this, and then they get longer and longer and longer because I want to add more stuff to them. So that's my first idea for you, is taking slides out of the TV kind of view. So this is what I'd like to know. If that was new for you, then I want you to give me a thumbs up. And if it was something that you were already doing, then I want you to give me just a fist. So fist bump me if it's something you were already doing. If it's new for you, then thumbs up, please. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate that. All right, so we're out of this view, but now what are we going to actually do with this slide? Well, we don't need there to be a title and a subtitle anymore because we're not going to think about this like something for people to view. They're going to interact with it. So I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard and press A, and that's going to select all of the boxes that are on my slide. And now I can hit delete and get rid of those all at one time, and I can start putting things into my slide and thinking about this like a workspace. And since I'm going to think about it like a workspace, I don't need this theme over on the side. I'm going to close this panel and get all my space available to me there. And you probably noticed I pulled down the box at the bottom that's got the words in it. I don't need that because there's not going to be a speaker. This is just going to be a space for me to work. So I'm going to flip back over to my example slide just a minute. And you'll see what I've got is some text at the top. I've got some boxes on the page. I've got a video in the slide. I've got an animated GIF in the slide. And then I've used the space around the edges. We call the space the gray space. So what I'm going to do is open up this file for just a minute and take a look at it with you. And I'd really love to get you talking and thinking about any questions you have about how this was created. And I'd like us to spend a few minutes going over anything here that is kind of a new concept for you or that you're curious about how it was done. Anybody got anything for me there? And you can talk in the chat or you can unmute yourself, either way.
So far, so good.
You guys are very quiet, or else I'm a fantastic teacher.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell myself I'm a really great teacher. All right, well, I'm going to get started with word art then. I'm going to choose Insert and Word Art because I want to put a title at the top of my hyper slide. And I want it to span across the whole top of the document. And I know if I just put a text box in there, I'm going to have to fiddle with it for a long time to get it to go into the space where I want it to be. But if I use word art is a picture, and I can just stretch it however I want and make it take up whatever space I like.
Yeah, you always think of word art as graffiti.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. So, Brooke, I don't know if I've told you this yet, but you're probably going to live longer than me because you're a lot younger than I am. So, on my headstone, I want it to say, I don't know what the question was, but Ariel was never the answer. All right. That's what's going on my
Okay.
tombstone. So anything that comes out Arial, I have to immediately change it because, you know, I'm living toward my destiny there. So I can go into my fonts and pick any font I want. But what I love about more fonts at the very top is the ability to go in here and look at what is new, because I love for people to be looking at my files and going, I didn't know that font was in Google. So I like to go over here to this sort on the right hand side and sort by date added and take a look and see what new fonts are in Google that I haven't seen yet, and therefore maybe other people haven't seen yet. And I like to kind of, you know, like have people, I would love for someone to say, where did you make that? That font's not in Google. And to be able to say it is in there. Now I can show you the more fonts area. So here's a relatively new font. I like that one. Brooke, had you seen that one before?
I have not seen that one.
Me neither. That one's new to me. I'd leave it to them to make one I don't know how to pronounce. Thanks a lot. That happens all the time. So now I can fill this with a color because, like Brooke said, this is more like graffiti than text. So now I can control the color. I can control the border color if I want to. I can control the width of the border if I want to. And I can go into the format options for this. And I can even make it have like the 90s reflection. Remember back in the 90s when we did that? Yeah. Don't do it. It's so bad. But sometimes a little drop shadow is okay. And so you can make it kind of stand out that way. Or maybe you're going for a retro look. That's all right too. All right. So let's go back and look at our example real quick. So we've got a video in here. We've got boxes in here that are made of dots. We've got some icons that are in here that exactly match a color. And I'm still going to try to keep pressing you to ask any questions that you have. Anybody have a question that we could talk about? Willing to segue for questions? Nope. All right. Well, let's keep going then.
Keep moving.
Okay. I want to make sure that you know that you can save a lot of time by knowing some little tricks when you're making something like a hyperslide. This is one that Brooke taught me. So when I want to draw a new thing and I want to keep my color scheme. So let's say I want to draw a box, but I want to use the color scheme I've already selected for my word art. I can click on the word art first and then go to my shapes and grab my shape and draw my shape with the same characteristics as my word art. So you see how automatically it came out with the blue border, the yellow fill inside, and that's because that was my original shape. Now I can always go and change this. If I want the middle to be white, for example, I can do that, but that just saves me a little bit of time. Now here is, I think, a unique to Fried technology, or at least I think we were first with this idea, and this is our idea. We really like to try to keep the center of the hyperslide for students. And so what we like to do is put our teacher work on the outside of the slide. And by teacher work, I mean things like directions. I mean things like, where do I click? All those types of stuff that we're going to have to provide to students, we're going to put on the outside of the slide. And notice, just like any other text box, we can format this. But Brooke, I heard you breathe. What did I miss?
Nothing. Oh, nothing. I was reading a question.
Oh, okay. Well, do we have a question? I'm so excited.
We do. It was just about, is there a way to put sound clips in on the slide without hiding the video? And that is a new add-in. You can show that too.
It is, yes. Let's look at that. So that's there for everyone now. Finally, it sort of slowly rolled out since I think last summer. Yeah, it was so weird because people in our domain would have it, and like Brooke and I didn't have it until not that long ago at all. And some of our other colleagues.
A cruel, cruel joke.
Yeah, it really was, because we both love slides so much, but it just wasn't there. But it's there now. So now I can go to Insert Audio, and I can pull any MP3 file that is in my drive. Now, I love to insert audio directions. So that's my favorite tip for you, is to record your directions and put them into the slide with your voice and not just text, because we know there are so many people who do better with sound than they do with reading. So there is an audio file that is in this slide now. If I click on it, I can click play and it will start to play. And I can also control. So if I want it to start automatically, I can look at the format options for it and I can make it go automatically. Okay, you should be asking a question right now. I'm going to give you a second to ask. So this audio clip is my voice. So your next question should either be, here's my favorite tool to record my voice, or what is a good tool to record your voice? Thank you, Dawn. I can tell you just asked that question. I appreciate you. I see you, Dawn. So my favorite tool to record my voice is Screencastify. And Brooke, do we have a code that we can give everybody today so they can get this feature for free? Okay.
I'll put it in. Well, this one is already, it's with the new upgrade.
Oh, okay. They get this one for free all the time?
Yeah, awesome. The only difference now with the upgrade to the premium account is the no length, basically, and the editor.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, great. So you don't need our code, but we'll give it to you anyway in case you want to have the full premium version for 30 days. You can get that through our code. But this is Screencastify. Can you all see that? Brooke, can you see that little window on my screen where I just opened Screencastify?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back and share my whole entire screen.
Nobody be scared. It could be a scary place, her whole screen.
Yeah, it could be. I'm going to try to maximize my window so I don't scare anyone. All right. I'm going to share my entire screen. And there we go. All right. Now, you seeing my entire screen?
Yep. If you click on Screencastify, I'll really know.
Okay. So it's not open yet. Don't dismay.
Okay. Yep. It's opening.
All right, great. All right. So I'm going to show you this tool. It's called Screencastify. The easiest way to get it is probably just to Google Screencastify, go to their website, and it'll tell you up there whether you have it installed or not and let you click a button right there to install it. Just make sure you're in your Chrome browser. So I'm going to turn off my webcam because I want to make a sound file. So all I need working is my microphone, but I do want to check my microphone. What I'm checking for when I click that microphone is I want to make sure that my voice is not pushing that over into the red, because if it is, like see how it's going into the red now, that's going to hurt my students' ears, especially if they have in earbuds. So I want to control that first of all. And then after that, it doesn't matter what's on my screen, doesn't matter what my webcam sees. I can click record because I know my goal is just to record my voice. So doesn't matter what window I choose. When I choose share, it's going to say 3, 2, 1, and it's going to start recording. There we go. There's our 3, 2, 1. All right, now it's recording everything that I say. So I just give my students directions. You know, hey kids, glad you're here today. First of all, I want you to type whatever in the first box on the page. I could even label the box number 1, or I could show them, type here if I'm making a video. And so when I get done giving all my directions with my voice, I'll just stop sharing. Screencastify is going to open up in a new tab. And hopefully, maybe you guys have used it to make a video before and not used it to make audio. All right, so yeah, we see the video on the page, but we don't care about that. It doesn't matter. Because what we want to do is over here to the right, in the download cloud, we want to export audio only. And when we do that, down at the bottom, it gives us a download button. But I learned yesterday in a webinar with a school district that I do not have to do what I've been doing. I have been downloading and uploading. I don't have to do that. It's already in my Google Drive. So when I go back over to my Hyperslide and I want to put my sound file in there, I can go to Insert Audio. And if I am patient, there it is right there at the top. That's the audio file I just made with its default name. And I can select that and it will go right into my slide. That's the audio file that I just made. All right, are there still no questions?
We have one about free MP3 audio clips. I'm going to put a link to a YouTube channel in the chat. It has videos in there of free music, but you can use those for your audio clips as well. But I know that there are some out there.
Yeah, cool. And another, I mean, this is, you guys must be super techie if you don't have any questions. So I'll go ahead and say this to you, even though I wouldn't say this to like a general audience because it's too deep in the tech weeds. But on a PC or a Chromebook, if you go down here to show more options, I'm using a Mac today, but on a PC or a Chromebook, you will see record system audio. You can turn that on and then you can play any video and it will take the audio from the video.
Yeah,
So,
when you're on the browser tab. Yep.
Yep. Do you have to do it on browser tab?
Mm-hmm.
On a PC and a Mac, I'm almost certain it shows on desktop. Yeah, I'm almost certain. I see it on my Chromebook, but not on my Mac. But yeah, you're right. There it is. So if I have a YouTube video pulled up and I play that and I record tab audio, I turn off microphone. It's not going to record my voice, not going to record what's going on in the room around me. It's just going to record what's in the YouTube video. So that's a good way to strip a song out, or that's illegal, by the way, but if you needed it just for your kids, for your Google Classroom, and you're just going to put it in Google Drive and nobody's going to see it or hear it, or, it's just going to be for educational use. I feel okay about that. Don't call the police, please. All right. These are some of the other skills that were used to make this infographic, and I am not going to go over any more of them unless you have a question. We're going to move on to a different strategy. So does anyone have a question about how to do any of those things, those skills that are on the left-hand side?
Amy, can you think of a reason why an audio clip wouldn't play on an iPad? We have somebody who said that they did this and they put the audio clip on the slide, but when the students were doing that the students couldn't hear it on the iPad. They should be able to, because an MP3 plays just the same on the iPad. So I'm not sure why they weren't hearing that.
I would have so many questions. I would want to know, were they using the Slides app to access it? That'd be my first question. My second question was, all right, if you weren't using the Slides app and you were opening it, were you opening it in Chrome or Safari? That would be my next question I would want to know. And then I would tell you, if you opened it in Safari, try it in Chrome. And if you opened it in Chrome, try it in Safari. And my next question would be, did you try desktop mode? So on an iPad or a cell phone, when you look at a web page, there's, you go to the hot dogs, the 3 dots in the top right. That's the symbol we call the hot dogs. So you go to those in your browser on your iPad or your cell phone, and you go to see desktop mode. And when you get in desktop mode, it's going to show you whatever that page is, exactly like you would see it on a desktop computer. And so I would encourage you to try it in there too. So just some troubleshooting things you can try. But that's an interesting problem. I hadn't heard that before. All right. Anyone else have any questions about how to do any of the things? I can't believe, Brooke, that they're not going to ask about the icons. I can't believe you guys are not going to ask.
Somebody
did. Somebody said, what are the flat icons and the animated GIFs?
You mean by flat icons? Yep, it's in there.
That was a smart person who asked that, because we love this tool. And I find anywhere I go, I do not find very many people who are using this tool. Most people are surprised. They say, oh yeah, I'm using that. Well, they don't know that you can change the colors of all the icons. So yes, we are using a paid version of it. It's because we love it so much, we want to support them. But you can get a free version of this too. I'll show you a good example. If I search for the word trophy, you do have to sign into this, by the way. Make sure that you're logged in when you go back later to practice with this, because you do not see all the features if you don't log in. So let me log in real quick. Because when I'm logged in, I'm going to be able to search for an icon, find it, and then change the color of it, of any part of the icon. So you can make all of your icons match. So if you pick these that are just black and white, then you can, make it match your color. If you pick one of these that's got a color in the background, I'm going to choose this one. I'm just going to click on it so you can see a preview of it. This is going to let me edit any color I want to in the icon. And that's this symbol right here. Can you see where I'm moving my mouse, Brooke?
Sure
Okay,
can.
cool. All right. So when we go there, that's going to let us pick a color that's in the icon and isolate it. So for example, right now I've got this dark blue color isolated. And now I can go down and I can change that to any color I want it to be. So I don't think anybody's school colors are hot pink, and that's a shame. But if they were, then you could make your icon hot pink, and you see how it's left that other blue color. Then I can go back and change that other blue color to a darker hot pink or whatever, and I can get my icon looking exactly like I want it. And by the way, that looks horrible. Don't do that to your icon, but anyway, you get the point. I can change it and make it whatever color I like. And then I can download it. And this is the format I like to download in. I always download in PNG 512. And the reason why is because that is the biggest file with a transparent background that I don't have to really do any work with. So PNG 512, and then you can hit download. And you can pull that file right back up into your HyperDoc or HyperSlide or whatever it is that you're working on. Brooke, you have anything to add to Flat Icon? Anything else you'd like to do with it?
That's pretty much the main one that I use. We've had a few people that asked about what's the difference between Flat Icon and Noun Project. To me, the biggest difference is preference. So it just depends which site you like to use. I like Flat Icon. I think that there's quite a bit more choices, but Noun Project is growing and adding new things all the time and being able to change. When I first started using Flat Icon, Noun Project was not at that point. So now I already have my collections built there, and that's why I enjoy it.
Does Noun Project have colored icons now? I haven't looked at it.
It really has grown. It really has. Yeah. And I mean, and that really, to me, that's truly my reasoning behind it is sometimes I do switch over into Noun Project every once in a while because I like their doodles that they have. I like things that look hand-drawn and doodled, and I find that more in Noun Project than I do Flat Icon. But it's just a preference. So if you're already using something that works for you, you do not have to switch.
Yeah, you're right, though. Sometimes you might want to go and look. And I know that now Flat Icon has also got a slides add-on. Yes, thanks for the word. Yep. So it's got a slides add-on you can use. And I think Noun Project does too, actually.
Yeah. And I also like Flat Icon also has a background pattern maker that I've used. I use it sometimes for our social media post. I can go in and pick different icons to make a digital like pattern background wallpaper style. And I like that too.
Yeah, I do too. You can put multiple icons in there, like it shows you in this little preview. That's what you can make. So you can search for whatever icons you want, you add them to your pattern, and you can really make them appear, however you want to. You can set this all up. I used it to make wallpaper before. See how that works? Like, what a weird bunch of choices I've made, but you can just add your stuff in there if you decide, oh, I don't want that pepper there. Oh, that onion looks terrible. You can just delete it, add something else, move it all around. Isn't that fun? Is everybody saying how fun that is right now in the chat that I can't see?
This is where I got stuck. So
that is fun.
I was able to like, yeah, it is fun. Yes. I was able to like get to this point, but then when you go to download it, it always made it a weird size. So what size do you go to like for it to look right?
Let me see what it got just now when I downloaded it default, because I don't know if I knew that you can change the size of it.
Yeah, I usually just click the like I said, most of the times when I've used it, I've just used it for our social media posts, so I never need it to be like really, really big. So
yeah, when I downloaded it, what I got was just that kind of size and shape, that 16:9 that we started out talking about today. And then you can just crop that to be whatever you want it to be.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that'd be the best thing to do there. it's a weird tool. Like I was really surprised when I first clicked on it. I think they were like advertising for it or whatever. I don't know anything else that really does this. You can change the background color. We do a lot with the word taco because we're in Texas. So we have a series of webinars we call Taco Bout. And so we have a lot of these that we've done that have tacos in the background. That's probably the only time I've ever used it, was probably making taco backgrounds.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Is
I
that what
used
you
it
did
for.
too? That's funny. Great minds think alike,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So, I'm actually kind of digging that flamingo pink background. And you can make them bigger too, by the way, and turn them. And I mean, I don't know if y'all are having a good time, but I'm
I
having
was
a
gonna
great time.
say, and Amy just went down the rabbit hole.
That's what just happened just now. Yep. That's what we call the rabbit hole. Yeah. My daughter yesterday let me know she went down the rabbit hole tie-dyeing. So she
Oh,
has
I
now
love tie.
tie-dyed. She's tie-dyed everything I think they own though,
Oh, that's
which,
awesome.
you
I
know,
love to do tie-dye.
apparently that's how she's been entertaining herself. And she's down in Houston. All right. Any other things on this page we should talk about? We're one slide
Um,
in, y'all.
a few, and Amy, I don't know if you've ever researched this. I can honestly say I know I haven't. Have you ever looked at flat icon for student use? Is there a way, have you ever noticed if it's COPA or any of that compliant?
Well, I do know that you can tie this to your Google account. So you would not have to have students create a different account in order to use it. And that's going to give you some protections because Google is not going to
Yeah.
let that account tie into anything that is collecting data. And that's the main worry with students. So when you log in, or when they log in, I would encourage them to tie it to their school Google account. And then there's a good lesson to be learned in here too. If you're not paying for it, then you're going to be asked to share the author's, the creation information for it, to cite the source.
Mhm.
And it gives you that source information for those icons. So I kind of like that too. All right, we're ready to move on?
Yep, looks good. Everybody's
Okay.
ready.
All right, cool. Let's go. So let's talk for a minute about how to publish and protect the things that you create. So if you're just creating these for your kids, well then, you're probably going to assign that in Google Classroom and you're not trying to keep that copy from anyone, but sometimes you make something and it's pretty much a masterpiece and you don't want other people to copy it. If they share it, you want them to share what you made. So there are some steps that you can take to make sure that your masterpiece remains with your credentials on it or whatever, however you want that to be. The first thing that you would want to do is go to the share button in the top right and give it a name clearly. And then go to advanced. And down here at the bottom, you want to do these two options: prevent editors from changing access and adding new people, and disable options to download, print, and copy for commenters and viewers. That'd be the first thing that I would do. The next thing that I would do, depending on what you want the end result to be, would be either to decide whether to go to share and advanced and change the privacy to anyone with the link can view. That's one way that I could share my creation. That's going to show them, though, a view like what we have right now. Now, they won't be able to copy it or anything, but they're going to see the slides over on the side. Like when you look at this, you see all the messy like underbelly of the slides. When you look at this, you just see the pretty final view. You don't see any of that other potentially distracting stuff. So you have to decide how you want them to see it. Most of the time for our slides, we want people to see the pretty view. And so what we do is we go to File, Publish to the Web, and we do not check anything, no check boxes. This link right here is what we want. So let me stop publishing it so you can see what it looks like when I start. So you would just click Publish, OK. And then this URL is a different URL, and this is the one that you would want to give people, the one that you would want to shorten and give to people. That's the pretty URL. That's where that comes from. Anyone have a question about that?
Not so far. Sorry, I muted. The lawn guys showed up.
Oh, that's
early.
fun, isn't
So
it?
I'm trying
Yeah.
to keep muted so you guys don't hear the sound in my microphone.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when the lawn guys
Oh, it's in,
come, isn't it?
in Chicago right now, they have snow. We had that conversation before you came on.
Yeah.
So they're all like the lawn guys. And I'm like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was 91 degrees on Sunday.
Yes, it is. It really is beautiful outside today,
Yeah,
though, I gotta
it
say. I
is.
wonder
It
if
really
can
is.
you also can still see my camera, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Let me turn it just a second. Let me see if I can keep it still a second. Can you see out there?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Not to brag or anything. I'd rather have snow,
I
but
was about to say, we wouldn't be sad if we were looking at snow.
no.
I particularly love it and miss it and wish that I was looking at snow today. But I will take this cooler weather that we have today,
Yeah.
and I can't wait till this afternoon to stand out in it and not be sweating. So
Yeah, me too. It's perfectly beautiful today. Could not be prettier. All right, so let's talk about vectorizable slides for just a minute because we make t-shirts a lot. If you go to Amazon and you type in fried technology, you're going to see our t-shirts. And a lot of that stuff we made either using Google Drawings or using Google Slides. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new blank slide into here so I can show you what I'm talking about. You can put any shape you want into a slide and it will become a vector graphic. So when you talk to your t-shirt company and they say we need a vector file and you're like, huh, what's that? I don't have access to anything that makes that. You actually do, because if you go to file and you go to download and you choose SVG, that is a vector file that your graphics person needs. And what that means is that anything that is in this file that is a shape, word art, or text can be infinitely resized. Now, this right here is not a vector file. Remember, I chose for it to be 512 pixels. So if I get it above that, it's going to start to pixelate. It's not a vector file, but it's easily turned into a vector because it has these clean lines. So let me go back to my slide so I can show you. See how in this telephone picture, this is a photograph and there's all these different gradients. There's all these different background colors. I mean, there's, I don't know, thousands of colors in this picture. But this telephone picture beneath is literally one color. It has these very clear lines. That can be turned into a vector. It's infinitely resizable. If we wanted to put it on a billboard, we could do that. So downloading as SVG from a slide will let you make a t-shirt design or something else to be printed by a professional printer. And I'm expecting someone to either say, who cares, or cool, I needed that. Or is there anyone who would like to say either of those things? Who cares? Or cool,
not
I needed that?
yet.
No? Okay, well, that's all right. We keep pressing.
Cool. We got a cool.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. That's probably a pity cool, but I will take it either way. I'm going to turn my phone alarm off because I just know it's about to sound any second. All right. So let's go on then. This is the new thing that we learned yesterday that we figured out Brooke had not been telling us all this time. So you see how on this slide, this winner chicken dinner has a transparent background. Everybody see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and that is supposed to say background. Just we're
Where?
going to point that out at the top of your slide.
Ground. Ooh, I can blame Alicia for that.
Yeah.
Ground. There we go. No, I can't. Shoot, I made this slide. I cannot blame crap.
Well, you didn't have to tell everybody that.
I know, but I did have to because it would be wrong to blame Alicia. She almost never makes mistakes. So this is what we found out yesterday, Alicia and I, when we were working on this presentation. We found out that you can go to a slide, you can go to the word background, and you can change the color of the background to transparent. And when you do that and you download the slide by going to File, Download, and you choose a file format that supports transparent backgrounds like PNG, that you will get out a slide that literally has a transparent background that you can then put on top of anything. And that's why I downloaded that slide and put it in here on top of these two different colors so that you can see that the background is transparent. So if you want to have text with a transparent background, now you can do that. And we were both really excited about it. I don't know if y'all are excited or not, but Brooke wasn't excited because she already knew that and didn't tell us. But yeah, that's what.
It wasn't that I didn't tell you. I tried to explain to them yesterday, if you've ever changed the background color of a slide, which they both have, That transparent option has always been there.
But we didn't notice it. You have to tell us about it.
I know.
So
I know.
changing the background color, yeah, it's just that background button, and you can pick, any color you want there, and it will change the background color of your slide. But this is the big takeaway, that it doesn't have to be a color. It can be transparent. We thought it was white. It looks white. So there you go.
Hey, you are getting some other people in the chat that also agree with you that they didn't think to use the transparent color that way. So
Thank you very much, friends.
And
I
in my
appreciate
defense, I also do a lot of the graphic work for Fry Technology. So I know some of these tricks because I have found them along the way. So
Yes. Well, next time you find one, it would be nice of you to let everybody know.
I will. I need to. But also, Amy, we have had several people in the group that have asked about creating animated GIFs. I'm not sure where you're going next. I just wanted you to know that that has been mentioned a couple of times.
You know what, Brooke? I'm going to talk about creating this pair.
Okay.
While you pull up at one of the awesome presentations you have where you have created an animated GIF, because you have a whole lot more of those than I do. Mine are lame. I'm going to just tell the truth. So you pull those up, and I'm going to turn this over to you. But first, we're going to learn how to make a pair. So sometimes you find a shape or a file, and you would like to replicate that. So you want to make a copy of it so it's all your own, or maybe you want to change something about it. So you can do that using the shapes that are built into slides. For example, I can draw over one of these buttons on this phone with that rounded rectangle shape, and I can replicate this and therefore make the buttons whatever color I want. And I can use the tools, the drawing tools inside slides, and I can make all kinds of shapes like this pair. So I can use the Polyline tool, which makes straight lines better, or the curve tool, which makes curved lines better. So I'm going to try to show you what I'm talking about. So I just clicked my mouse one time, and I'm going to click, click, click as I go around the perimeter of this shape. So I'm just moving my mouse, and when I get it into a spot where I think it's aligning with my shape, I'm just going to click, and that's going to matter in just a minute. So when I'm going around a corner, I want to click more, but I never want to double click, because when I do, it's going to close up my shape. So when I get to the end, I'm going to close my shape with a double click. And I kind of messed up a little bit, but you get the point. When I double click now, I see every time I clicked my mouse. Can you all see those little purple handles there? That's going to let me refine my shape. So now I can pull that out and make it perfect. If I hadn't messed up there at the bottom, I could do that. So once I get my shape copied like that, what I want to do, if it's symmetrical, is I want to get half of it copied. And then I want to use my tools to, for example, duplicate. This is the easiest way to duplicate. I'm going to hold down Control and press D on my keyboard, and I can press it 100 times and get 100 of those if I want to duplicate. And then I can use my Arrange, Rotate, and I can flip that and line it up. I just put the line on there so y'all could see how it was going together. And then I can select both of those together. So I held down Shift and selected the other half of it. And now I can give it a color and all that stuff that's going to really make it look like a pair. And if I want it to be joined together, then I can go to Arrange and Group. And now my pair is really one object. So I want somebody to unmute and give me some kind of feedback now. Is that new to anyone? Is that helpful to anyone?
That is new to me, but I think I can do it.
Awesome. I know you can. And thank you very much for having the courage to unmute for a second. It's real hard to talk to yourself, feel like no one's listening. So this is the Polyline tool I'm going to show you next. And it's really my favorite, and it's way easier than the curve one. So Polyline is in the same spot, and it's going to make straight lines. So you see how this part of this shape is this medium pink color. If I want to replicate this shape, I'm doing a bad job, but you just take your time and you can make it perfect. I can replicate that part of that shape, and I can copy it over and make this banner over again. And then I can have all the pieces, and I can make it be whatever color I want it to be. Again, every time you click, it's going to add a handle. So that's going to let you go back and change it and make it more perfect. So see how that when I kind of dropped it down some, I can come back and double click, get my handle and pull it up and make it more perfect. Polyline tool and the curve tool. All right, Brooke, you ready for the masterpiece of making animated GIFs?
I am, but I have to tell you, when you first said that, I was like, I don't do anything with GIFs. I don't know what you're talking. And then that's where my brain is. And I was like, I don't, because I was thinking about something totally different when we talk about GIFs, and I will talk about that as well. So let me go ahead and share mine. I do want to answer a question that was in there a second ago that asked about, can I use this with a touch screen on the Polyline and the curve tool? So I do have to say that you can't use the touch screen like as a mouse inside of those tools. It doesn't allow that. So you really have to either use the mouse. But from what I hear, that update could be coming. So I'm just going to keep practicing every once in a while and wait for those moments. It's about the clicking. Since you have to click to drop those anchor points, that's what's not allowing your stylus or your touchpad to work with it.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Duh,
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we have had someone in the chat also drop that Screencastify is a really great way to do animated GIFs. So when Amy was showing earlier how to go through and to like, this is where you click here and you click here and you click here. If you wanted to quickly download your Screencastify as an animated GIF, it's in the download section. But this is what I think Amy was talking about that you guys would want to see. And I use a talltweets.com, and I'm going to show you all how that works. So what I've done here is I've taken my Bitmoji. I don't know how many of you have a Bitmoji, but I love my Bitmoji and I use it all the time. So what I've created here is kind of like a the stop motion animation. I've taken my Bitmoji and I'm going to move it a little bit across my slide each time. And so as it begins to move, it's making it look like it's dancing. You can go to this website and it's called Tall Tweets. So, and it's just www.talltweets.com. There is now an add-on for Tall Tweets, but it's Creator Studio, and you can watch the video up here that he has about that. But I really think it's so great just to click on this middle dark purple section. It's going to pull up all of my different slide presentations. I thought since I just used that one, it was going to pull up. I think I call it B slide. Let me find that. Since Amy put me on the and she was still asking questions, and I was having to look at her screen and find my presentation. It's okay. We're making it work. And the lawn guys are here.
Yeah, it's a lot, but you got
a lot. Yeah. So it does take a few seconds. So I want you to know, if you have 55 slides in here, don't panic. It's going to take a while for it to load. Okay. So what's going to happen is it says, what image width do you want? I'm just going to tell you guys the pro tip. Start at about 800 and don't go any higher, especially if you have more than 2 or 3 slides. And then this is the big one, slide duration in seconds. So I start with 0.5, but I usually end up at 0.25 because I like mine to go a little faster. You don't actually have to put the sequence of slides. I used to think that you did, and I was corrected. This is if you wanted to skip a slide in your slide deck. So if I only wanted it to show slides 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, I would put those numbers in here and it would skip them. Okay, so I'm going to do create GIF, and then you're going to see the magic. Now I'm sliding across this and have made my own animation of my Bitmoji. I can save it, and it's going to save to my computer. If you ever get a network error, so mine's right now says download. And if it says network error, it means that you have put too big of a graphic. It can't compute. It can't hold it. So if you see network error is not your internet, it means you need to change your GIF image width. Keep lowering it. Make it smaller and smaller until it will download. The main time that you get that message, network error, is if you have inserted a background image in slides here. If you go to background, and do choose image and insert the image from here, it makes it where it will not download as a GIF. So just put the image in the background, just lay it on here instead of actually inserting it into the background. It does something to the pixels and you'll get that network error all the time. Okay,
Can
so
you show how you got that Bitmoji into that slide?
I can. So here is my my little sliding Bitmoji GIF in my slide. Now the reason I have mine long is because I actually was inserting this into a presentation. So I made the background of my slide the color of the background of my slide presentation so that it looked like she was floating on the slide.
Could you have made it transparent though?
So not in GIFs.
Okay.
GIFs don't have it'll always download as a white background. That was a good question.
That's a real question.
It was. It will download. I have tried to do it transparent. So if anybody on there knows how to make yours transparent background, I will take that. I have tried. I have Googled. I have not succeeded. So you asked me to show you something?
Oh, yeah. Show how you got the Bitmoji in there, because that really confused me. When I first saw people doing this, I'm like, okay, well, I have the Bitmoji extension and I made a Bitmoji, but I did not know at first how to get it from the Bitmoji extension into the slide. And it's real easy, but you know,
it is. So all you have to do in the Bitmoji extension, which mine I'm not seeing at this moment.
Don't they just disappear when you need them the most?
Mm-hmm.
Is it inside your hot dogs?
Maybe. Yep, there it is. All right. Usually it's way over here because I use it so often. So I must have moved it for a video.
And remember, we can't see it. So tell us what you're doing.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I opened my Bitmoji extension, which I got from the Google Chrome store. And all I have to do is pick the Bitmoji I want, and I can literally drag on it, hold the mouse down, and drag it onto my canvas and drop it. You can also do a copy and paste, but I always just drag and drop it directly on here. I do want to show you one other example because, you know, Amy just showed you guys how to use the Polyline and Curve tool. So I made this one in the same thing with tall tweets. You're going to see that I have copied this slide several times so that it would be on the screen longer. But then what I did was I used the Polyline and Curve tool and my shapes to start creating this process to show so that my students can make this so they can show that they understand this process. So this is taking it further than just making a cute Bitmoji animated GIF, but actually going in and using those tools to create a process. So when it finishes, which I'm just going to use it this way instead of going in and it'll take a long time to process. This is what it would look like on the GIF.
That's so cool. I don't think I've ever seen this example of yours before.
Yeah, so they can go in. I use the Amoeba Sisters. It's a YouTube channel. They're teachers, and they're the Amoeba Sisters. And I watched their video. And so in my lesson, I would put the video for the Amoeba Sisters lesson, and then the students would then use Google Slides to create this part of the process to teach me that they understood what they learned in the video.
That is so fun. I love that. Yeah. Very cool.
Now, you guys were all here for me showing her that, so now she can't yell at me publicly another day that I knew it if she did it.
I can too. You can't stop me. Once you get me in a live webinar, there's nothing you can do.
I agree. All right, that was some fast. Again, guys, that website was called Tall Tweets. It's talltweets.com. So if you want to use that, that is an option as well. Talltweets.com. Awesome. All right, I'll stop presenting.
All right. Well, I will take over this screen again just for a couple of minutes, unless do you guys have work you need to do, like a form anybody needs to fill out to get credit and all that kind of stuff with IdeaCon?
Yes, they do. And I'll just drop that in the chat so you can keep going, and then just give me 1 minute at the very end so that I can give everybody the logistics.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I'll just show you guys some more things that have been made with slides because I just find it incredible to see. So Brooke actually years ago made this postcard with slides. So she just went in, changed the slide dimensions to 4x6. And then this was the first time I ever learned this technique, and I don't even know if she knows this. I wanted to know when she made that Google word there, how did she get the letters to line up like that and to be close together? Because I went in and I typed Google and I selected the same font that she did, and mine didn't look like that. And that's when I learned that what she does is she does one letter at a time.
What she does is just be a crazy person.
She's crazy. That's what you're just learning about Brooke.
Yes, I own my crazy. I own it. I wish
Yep.
I could just walk away from things sometimes, but I can't.
She can't. Even when we say, Brooke, just walk away. It's okay. But she can't do it, and it's to our benefit because we all end up learning. So see what she did. Every letter is a separate letter, and she just turned them all so they'd look all cool and cute and stacked up like that. Brilliant, brilliant idea. All right. This is a sign that I think we used printed out. So we made it 8.5 by 11 so we could print it. This is a magazine layout. So this is just a slide with text boxes. So this is a text box on the left, another one on the right, and then probably a text box here with everything centered. Yep. So if you get your kids to just look at what does a magazine look like, then they can make magazine layouts using slides. I actually know of a school that does their whole school, quote unquote newspaper using slides. So that's pretty cool usage. You can make certificates, and I think this will be my last one because I want to give you guys that minute you need. But these are certificates. When we give out certificates, we use them with slides, and you can use a tool called Autocrat to let them self-generate based on what's put into a form, which I don't know, maybe that's how you get your certificate today. I'm looking forward to finding out. They probably have some fancy system. All right, there's my part. I'm out.
Awesome. I cannot thank the two of you enough. This was incredible. I could listen to you both all day long, honestly. And that's not just because I have 4 kids making a mess upstairs. It's because you guys are just such great teachers. I've learned so much. I thought I was pretty knowledgeable about Google tools, but I have learned an incredible amount from the two of you in just an hour.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Well, y'all just remember when all this is all over, we want to come back to Illinois. So have us back.
Yes.
I've already marked it down. You're in.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I have put the link for our participants today to receive their 1-hour PDH. So you just fill out that form and it will be emailed directly to you, your proof of attendance. And then tomorrow you will get a copy of this recording as well as the chat. So any links that were shared in the chat or conversations that were had, you'll also get an archive of that with this wonderful recording. And I'll see if I can somehow tear this presentation away from Amy and Brooke and get it somehow to you guys as well, because it looks like a wealth of information that we would all love to have too. So again, thank you all for attending today, and hopefully I can get Amy and Brooke to come back in the coming weeks as well.
We would love to.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. So I'll stay on for another minute or so to make sure that there are no questions about your professional development hours. But otherwise, have a great day, everybody, and stay healthy.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Stay safe.